my God, men. Do you know what this means? This skitter's gonna be turned upside down, I tell you, upside down. If you get on his bad side, brother, you're done for. Now, it's only a matter of time before he finds out, and when he does, no matter where he is, get ready, gentlemen, because hell's a-coming. Hell's a-coming. Hell's a-coming. Hell's a-coming. Hell's a-coming.
Open. God damn it, open! Prime, you said the Matrix would light our darkest hour.
Magnus! I want the Matrix!
Never!
All right. Welcome back, everybody, to Gundamn at MAHQ. It's one of your hosts, Neil. Joining me always is, who's over there? Soul Bro?
Yo, what's going on, man? Happy New Year, everybody! Welcome, guys.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy
Yes,
New Year.
It's the first episode of Gundamn for 2019. This is one of your hosts, Neil, and joining me is Soul Bro. And Soul Bro, how's things? It's been a while since we've been on. So, anything change? Anything change? Any changes?
It's tripping me out to be in the year of Blade Runner, guys. We're here. We finally made it, man.
We are.
The smog and rain in Los Angeles. Yo, let's go. Constant humidity over there. How's it feeling over there, Neil? You feeling the
well? Last week
yet?
there was rain.
Oh, indeed.
There was rain, and so yeah. But no, not too much humidity right now.
Oh man.
But yeah, welcome back, everybody. This is episode 204 of Gundamn and MAHQ, and this episode we're going to kick it off with something that a lot of people have been talking about. This probably last 2 months or so. When did this movie come out?
Came out on the 21st of December, so right before Christmas.
Yep, right before Christmas. Mm-hmm. It was an early Christmas gift, and that's going to be Bumblebee, the movie.
Oh.
No, it's just called Bumblebee. They should have called it Bumblebee the movie.
It may have gotten more people to go see it if they did. Oh man.
Yeah. Exactly wasn't a blockbuster, would you say? No.
At least not in the States. When it came out, it was third at the box office. Came out the same weekend as Aquaman, and also Into the Spider-Verse was still making money from the weekend beforehand. So that Into the Spider-Verse came in second on its opening weekend. So it was up against some steep competition.
Excuses, man.
What a dumb move to get this movie out there.
I thought G1 Transformers was gonna save us all.
I know, man. Heart and soul.
Must have lacked heart and soul.
Oh no. Damn it, man.
But yes, that'll be our topic tonight is Bumblebee the movie. But Soul Bro, anything as I saunter over to the first news of the year in the Larry King Memorial News Studio.
Oh,
if you got a news story, just tell me. I could go to breaking news.
Well, it's not breaking news. It's actually something I wanted to make the viewers and the listeners aware of. Donald Relance recently edited and put together a compilation episode for 2018. Posted it up a couple days ago. So if you guys haven't checked that out yet and you want to run back some of the classic moments of Gundamn in 2018, you can check that out over on the feed, whether you find us on iTunes or wherever you get us. You can also find us on Android over on podcast. I forget what the app is, but there's a podcast app on
Android.
On Android, it's podcast something. Anyway, it'll come to me. Anyway, we're
Apple World Order. Apple World Order.
Apple World Order. Oh,
submit.
And I lost the music because my mouse hit the floor. What the hell? But yeah, the episode just recently dropped. So if you guys normally download episodes from the MP3 feed, please feel free to go and grab that. And much appreciated if you do. Shout out to Dollar Relance for editing another great compilation as always. And make sure to thank him on Twitter at DolloR. That's DOLLOW capital R. And thank him very much for working on that, man. That's what's up. But praise be to Dollar. Yo, shout out to Yup. I see you, Yup. I see Yazi too. And I'll throw it back to you, Neil.
Yeah, well, I'd like to tell everybody too. Give Dalo some thanks for doing that, because it's out of his own. We don't ask him to do that, so he does it out of just his own kindness. So hit him up. I think he's on Twitter and probably a couple other things. So
he's on Twitter and Facebook, but
so just tell normally him, good job.
He fields a lot of attention on Twitter at DollarR. So check him out over there and let him know how much you like the episode. And many thanks to him.
Yep. So that means we're going to the first news of 2019. And we're going to start with a news story for 2018. And always, if you have any news stories, you can always submit them to the Neo's listener submitted news articles thread in the Gundam section of the Mecha Talk forum. And the first one here comes from Bertman4, 1st of 2019. I can't get the website's not working, but he gave me some information here, and I don't know how I don't know how true this is because I can't really back it up, but I guess there is on Right Stuff, there was a Universal Century Gundam Blu-ray bundle. The retail price was $1,179.81, which is kind of weird. 79 and 81, isn't that like MSG? And what was 81? Is that
what is 0080? Well, no, the 0080 was one in the pocket.
I guess.
But 81 did have like a comic book or game, if I recall.
Yeah, there was something. I don't think it was.
It wasn't.
I don't think it was. It wasn't a series, but the retail price was that. I guess the price for on Right Stuff, they were selling it for $559.99. So, I mean, if that's all Universal Century Gundam for Blu-ray, that's probably a pretty good price, because I mean, you're probably figuring what about, I don't know, how many DVDs? Probably about 10 DVDs at least.
I would imagine so if it's a UC collection. I mean, plus if anything, it's more so Universal Century, but it's
Universal Century. Yeah, I can't view the link, so I don't know. I think it might have been just a holiday thing.
Yeah, I got ripped down. I clicked on the link too, and it's out coming up, which means it must have been a temporary thing. But it'd have been cool to have all the details there. If anything, shout outs to Bert.
Anybody buy it?
That's what I want to know. Anybody scoop it? Let me know.
Yeah, you could probably collect them by series for cheaper.
Yeah.
But thank you, Mr. Bertman, for your submission. Oh, the next two come from Philly Gundam fan. He's got a link here. Man, it looks like Gundam Narrative is going to screen across 450 U.S. theaters. On February 19th, the Gundam Narrative dub will be screened across the U.S. by Phantom Events. The first 50 attendees at each screening will receive a mini poster. Tickets go on sale on January 18th. So they're on sale right now.
I think I'm going to see this. I'm actually going to go see this. I get
I'll
off
have to
work.
check to see if it's anywhere here.
Yeah, but you're in LA, so you're in Southern California. You will have no choice, no problem. But they show a lot of anime up the street from where I live too. So
it's becoming a regular. I mean, Gundam Narrative. Oh yeah, this was like the fan stuff, the Gundam Narrative. I remember us talking about this, where you'd have the different. Okay, we'll have to see how this goes.
Yeah, I mean, it looks interesting. It looks cool, but I hear a lot of people knocking it because it's very what's the word? It's very a young adult. So it's gonna have a little bit of that. I don't want to say Twilight because that's like the go-to for young adult, but it's gonna have.
Original Mobile Suit wasn't a little young adult. I mean
they're all young adult. Let's be real.
Yeah, I mean,
let's be real.
Yes, they deal with actual adult themes, but I mean they're all like teenagers. So I don't know. check it out.
We're living in a day and age where we got Dragon Ball Super in movie theaters
Yeah.
right now, and I have to still go see it. I can't wait to go
How
see it.
people are complaining about this, because it's like, even just a couple years, man, I wish we'd have more anime offerings like on Netflix and Hulu, and then it's like every time you go on those things, it's nothing but anime. I think
Living the
Netflix,
dream.
once everything gets pulled off of them from every other content provider that's opening their own streaming service, so you're going to have nothing but shitty Netflix originals and and anime.
Yo, Yazzie says it's new type heavy, so that's cool, man. I don't have a problem with new types, like a lot of people do. Like people say, man, I don't want to see any more new types. I love the mystique behind new types, man. I do.
Yeah, but Rich, I wonder what version of new type it's going to be.
Well, it's Universal Century, so we're probably going to get the.
Like I said, which version will it be?
Oh shit, the Fire and Brimstone new type. We're gonna find out.
Yeah,
we're gonna find out, man. But yeah,
so
good times.
But and Philly Gundam fan comes back. He's got a link here. The Hathaway's Flash movie trailer is now streaming. So I haven't had a chance to take a look at it, but myself. But
I haven't seen it either. You want to? Well, let's take a deep dive, man. Let's get torn off of YouTube. Let's do it.
Okay.
I'll just edit it out. I'll edit, of the YouTube thing. It won't take too long.
No. Don't worry about that. Yeah,
damn it.
Well, you know what? We'll do it on a separate thing one day.
One day we will. Damn.
I
do want to see this shit though, but oh well. I'll fix it.
Let's, because it's too much trouble.
God damn it.
Damn you, copyrights.
Damn you, YouTube.
But Philly Gundam fan comes back with another article here, and it looks like Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans. You remember that? The orphans and the blood and the death and the destruction and all that. Looks like they're going to receive a side story in mobile app form. So I guess this would be before the end of the show. Because if it's all the characters we know and love, here's a little thing. It's going to be created by the same staff who worked on the first 2 seasons of the anime. Mm-hmm. It's set during the IBO anime, and the story centers around Wistaro Afam, a boy born and raised in the Radista colony floating above Venus. Venus, which lost terraforming rivalry with Mars, is a remote planet for which even the 4 major economic blocks have shown little interest. Wistaro wishes to change the status quo of his birthplace, and then appearing before him is a girl who claims to be the guide of the Yura hunt, whatever that is. He says, and what we'll get it in English. Oh, he says, will we get it in English? Who the hell knows? So. Did they talk about Venus in the show? I don't remember that. It might have.
If they did, it was in like passing, and I honestly don't know. I honestly couldn't remember if there was.
I don't remember either. So yeah, and if they did, it was very brief. So,
yeah.
And didn't really matter to that story. So, but thank you, Mr. Philly Gundam fan, for your submission. Oh, Rodimus76 gave us the first Survey News alert of 2019.
No.
How appropriate.
Oh no.
During the Bumblebee review.
God save us.
How appropriate. So Soul Bro,
yes.
You know what? Give the alert.
Oh, I don't have it queued up. But I'm so sorry.
Post-production.
It's a
post-production.
Post-production. Damn it. Yo, it's been a while since we had a Michael Bay alert. Damn it, I wish I had it queued up.
It actually has been a while.
Oh my God.
This is coming from the good old Geek Tyrant website. Haven't gotten a story from them in a while, but it looks like there is another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reboot in development.
Oh,
so,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it looks like
no.
It says here Paramount Pictures is developing another movie reboot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and they're looking to start production on it next year. Producers Michael Bay, Andrew Form, and Brad Fuller of Platinum Dunes will be back to produce the film, with Andrew Dodge writing the script. From what dropped at the Critics' Choice Awards, saying, quote, "We're doing a reboot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at Paramount. This is looking like production at the end of the year." Then he further stated, "Did you just give away something? Oh boy, I think the preceding 2 Turtles movies. We did the 2 preceding Turtles movies, but I don't know that we are saying that we're making it, but that's good to know."
Oh my God.
So, yeah.
Transformers. That's all I know.
I saw those movies. I've never been a huge Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan. I mean, I like them, but I've never been like really hardcore.
I
I know
caught the
some
bug.
people are more hardcore than others.
Yeah.
I know the movies are always vastly different than the actual comics.
Yeah.
And you know all that. But are you excited about this? I mean,
I caught the bug when I was when the first season of the animated series came out way back in the day, right? But I was becoming a teenager, so I just I kind of fell out of it. I kind of like it wasn't like the magical age you were when Transformers and GI Joe came out. It was we were just basically moving up and moving on at that time, so it didn't really stick with me. But I always have liked and had an affinity for the Turtles. But I don't know, man. The last movie wasn't horrible, but it wasn't good either. And I did like the one that came before, but it's a little too soon to be doing another one. I guess they're just trying to make that money, man. Trying to get
it's like everything's getting rebooted now, which is kind of appropriate, stating that we're doing the Bumblebee movie. But
yeah, that's right.
So thank you, Rodimus76, for the first Survey news alert of the year. And
oh boy,
yeah, he says, he puts in quotes, parentheses, sort of. I got a feeling Survey is, and I'm sure a lot of fans will like this. I don't see him directing too much anymore. It seems like he's got the old, I'm going to produce because it's a lot less trouble and I can make a lot more money.
Yeah, it's true.
So,
there's a lot of money in production.
I'm sure there's trouble with the productions, but I mean, there's a lot less like fan backlash because it is funny that one of the producers of Bumblebee is Survey. So. Oh man, Rodimus76 comes back with a Robo-Apocalypse news alert.
Oh man, go for it.
Yeah, post-production, Soul Bro.
Damn it.
Oh man.
Extra work.
This comes from the Geek Logie. Oh man. Vision of the future, an army of robotic spiders on the march.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
We just Robotics 3D printing Z6 robot is trying to give us an awkward teenage boner with a 1980s theme inspired aerobics routine. And today, an older video of the swarm of their TX-8X spider robots preparing for battle. Yeah, I mean,
why would they do this?
I don't know.
Why would you do this, guys?
Why does everything that's robotic gotta be like it's one step from killing us?
Just put a killer laser on the front of it. We're done. We're done, man. Oh my god.
So, but thank you for that submission, Rodimus76. Oh, and he comes back with another submission, but it's not theme submission. It's just a normal submission. It looks like some mecha drama explodes in the Fafner and the Azure, the Beyond trailers. So if you go to Crunchyroll, there's some trailers of the Beyond trailers. So check those out. Looks like Solbro is going to be doing a lot of trailer watching after the show.
Oh my god! Apparently, man, I've not watched the Fafner since the first one. I've been meaning to, but I just haven't got around to it, man. That first series like burned my brain. Just how.
Yeah, that first series is a little shocking.
Yeah, it really is. But I kind of been wanting to dive into the rest, and we still got Horai Face though. I will say this: plenty of Horai Face going on right now. Good shit.
Mm-hmm.
Good shit, man. Some things just don't stop.
Oh man, Yazi88 comes back with some with his first post of the year, saying there's a new SD Gundam game announced for later 2019 release. It's called G Generation Cross Rays. It's a turn-based strategy RPG that is another entry in a long-running G Generation series. It's coming out for PS4, Switch, PC, and there's going to be an Asian English version confirmed for all three versions. There's going to be no UC series, 4AU Gundam series with their various side materials, Wing Universe, Seed Universe, Double O Universe, I mean our universe, IB and the IBO universe. So he's got a link here to Gemetsu, so check that out. Oh my god, Rodimus76 comes back with such an appropriate news article for this thing.
What happened?
Looks like there's a Bumblebee sequel now in development.
Oh, thank God! I was wondering if the movie made enough money to garner the interest.
Well, I'm going
Bumblebee
to go to
sequel.
the Geek Tyrant here, and we're going to find out because it looks like it did.
Go for it.
Oh man, for all you those hoping to see a sequel to director Travis Knight's Bumblebee, you'll be happy to hear that the sequel is now in development. All right.
Wow.
News comes from Deadline, which teases it may revolve around both Bumblebee and Optimus Prime, which makes sense as those two characters were hanging out with each other at the end of the film. Oops, spoiler alert.
Oh, oops.
So
spoilers will be had.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, producer Lorenzo Di Bonaventure says, yeah, we had many objectives, including to bring a new set of families into the series, and that succeeded. And aftermarkets, that will continue to succeed in a big way. Part of our obligation was to bring people back who left the franchise or never experienced it, which worked well. We are finding our way. Our intention was to please the core fans, but also bring a new audience. So looks like Bumblebee was hitting the $400 million mark worldwide. And this was on January 22nd. So it's probably a little bit more at this point. So, man, there you go, Soul Bro.
That's good shit. I'm glad to hear that they're working on this. I certainly hope something comes of it.
Guess there's no speculation on the sequel in this review.
I hope this is not just vaporware, and then actually something comes of it, because there's
it doesn't seem like it.
I'm not going to spoil the ending, but there's a lot of potential for a pop-off sequel for this, and where the movie ends is actually a pretty good place for them to have a dope ass movie. So I would hope to see it, and I hope they get it going.
Does the John Cena Marine movies, do they dovetail into? Are they part of the Bumblebee universe?
The
Anybody know out there?
I'll get into the speculation about his character once we talk about the movie.
That he's the general?
Yeah, that he's with the Hawk from G.I. Joe or some shit.
Oh, I haven't heard that one. Okay, we'll get in the review.
No
I got
problem.
a couple other things here.
Yeah.
Oh, there's some Yoki Tamino news.
Oh, shit.
Looks like he had some comments on the upcoming adaptation of Hathaway's Flash. And he's this is from the shade. He goes, and he's not being crotchety, but yet rather positive. Oh, let's see what Tamino-san's got to say.
Get out.
Yeah, this is coming from Anime News Network.
Yo, I'm mad.
So looks like he shared an official comment, and he said this, quote, 30 years after I wrote those novels, they are finally being adapted into film. As an author, I am so happy, he said.
Man.
He noted the theme of the novels is, quote, what decisions are necessary for modern society? Wow, he's being very introspective here.
Look at this guy.
And he goes, another quote, the real world hasn't progressed and may have even regressed because of all the Gundam fans who gave this story a chance to reemerge. Its themes can pierce through society today. Wow.
Word? All right.
Yes. And he says here, he concluded with, he says, the production staff are getting younger, and the viewers who take in their work are even younger than that. I believe that this young generation will one day pave the way for the reformation of humanity, for new types. Wow. Look at Tamino. You know what Sunrise needs to do? They need to make him into like Stan Lee. He needs to be in it. He needs to somewhere pop up in every Gundam show.
Hey man, he popped up in the Dayon, so that's the first.
He did, yeah.
She was there. So let's keep bringing him back, man. Let's keep bringing him back.
That was him. Yeah, but I mean, I'm saying he should be like he should be like Stan Lee in the Gundam universe.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
So, last one here comes from Yazi, and it looks like there are some Evangelion anima light novels that are going to be localized in the U.S. by Seven Seas Entertainment.
Ooh.
It's yet another alternate take from the end of the television series.
Oh my God.
Taking place 3 years after, featuring older and mature versions of the main cast along with new Evangelion.
Of course.
I think I've seen this, the Japanese version, a couple of years ago. Yeah, I think I've seen this online.
Well,
God, how many times can you
retell the same story?
Holy God, really? I mean,
I'm cool with Ava, but come on, man. I mean, you guys have had so many like alternate takes and spin-offs and whatnot, man. And it's like, dude,
Is it all in Shinji's mind? Did it really happen?
What I would love to see is the creative team behind Ava come back and do something. That's do something brand new. Hey, come on.
Yeah, that's not Ava.
It's not
Yeah.
Ava. Just come on, make a new iconic anime for us in this day and age. It'd be really cool. But they're milking it for all it's worth, man. I mean, I enjoy Ava, but I'd really be hard pressed to pick this up. Mainly because there's been so many retellings of Ava so far. I
don't even know what to. I mean, I used to joke. It's like, what is the actual real end of it? And it's like, I don't even know anymore. Now it's getting to a point where it's. I mean, and this may not be that bad because they're saying they're a little older and stuff, and that's okay. But I mean, I don't know.
It is an interesting take because it would be refreshing to see the characters a little bit older and a little bit more mature, but they're still teenagers, so they're still gonna make some dumb teenage mistakes. I mean,
but this one is going to be. It's the end of the show, the original show. It's an alternate take, and then it's going to take 3 years after that. So it's probably the rebuilding of society.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
Yazi says Shinji actually adopts Kaji's looks. Oh wow, he starts to grow a ponytail and becomes cool. Your word? Yo, I mean,
can that really happen?
Well, if wonders ever cease.
So thank you everybody for who submitted, and as always, if you have any news stories, always submit them in the Neo's listener submitted news articles thread in the Gundam section of the Mecha Talk forum. And so, bro, anything before we go into our first and only topic of the night?
I just want to thank some of the people who are watching. Shout out to Mighty Observer and FlameX over on Twitch. Thanks for watching over there, guys. You guys are holding it down. And over on the YouTube, I've seen cats like Yazi, of course. Yup. Daniel Mason. He's here. He's here, man. Yo, Jose Noel is here. Yo, Austin is here, man. Yo, I see you, Austin. Who else is here? James Hamlin. What's going on, baby? And who else? Got Bryant Roberts. Yo, he was here. He was mad early, man. He was right after Yazi got here, man. Shout out to everybody. If I missed someone, please skewer me in the chat. All right. I'm sorry, but yeah, that's what's up, man. Night 956 is also here, man. Shout outs to him and everybody else who's watching. Thank you very much for tuning in. And if you guys want to watch it live, by the way, make sure to find us on youtube.com/Gundam MAHQ. If you want to watch us live, just add a slash and a live next to that, and you'll find us. We usually stream on at least 2 Thursdays a month. Just keep following us on Twitter to find out when. And thank you very much.
Yep. And thank you, everybody, for supporting. And by the way, if I sound like a little crap, it's because I've been getting over losing my voice. So
wow.
I'm okay, but everything is, if I don't have my usual pep in my step, then that's what it is. So
too much night.
No, just a lot of drinking in this Ricolas, man.
Yeah. I'll light you up.
But well, we're gonna go into the 2018 release of Bumblebee, and before we begin, this will be spoiler heavy. So if you have not seen this movie,
we already passed that point of no return 5 minutes ago. Damn.
Yeah, we said something, but that's not the whole movie.
That's true. That's
true.
I mean, I'm just.
Yeah, I mean that. But yes, if you haven't seen it, turn away, turn off. What is it? Tune in, tune out, and drop out, or whatever.
There you go.
What they used to say, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
All right, so Bumblebee. It's based on, of course, the Transformer character of the same name.
Oh boy!
And it's the 6th installment of the live-action Transformers films, which began with the Serpay classic, the 2007 Transformers. But this one, I guess, would be a prequel. Yeah, so, bro, how is this just prequel, soft reboot?
It seems
awesome. Is it something? There's a lot that was in the Bay movies.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to serve two masters. Number one, you could see it as a prequel to the Bay movies, but at the same time, there's elements in this film that don't fit But then
Right.
again, the Bay films also lack continuity between each other anyway, so that's not
Yeah,
a shock. But yeah, watching this movie is like it could be a prequel to the Bay films, or
Yeah,
it could be its
well-
own brand new thing, and that's what I hope it's going to be. But back to you.
Yeah, we'll get into that. We'll
Yeah.
just do a quick like story outline. So of course, starts on Cybertron, like all good things start in all Transformers media, and it's the battle between the evil Decepticons and the heroic Autobots. And of course, we see Optimus Prime just being in his all G1 favorite, and I'm sure. Soul Bro, did you have a little warm feeling between your legs when you saw that for the first time?
The first 5 minutes of this film with all those appearances and all the shit that was going on, man. You should ask my wife. She saw me bug the F out when I was watching the first.
Oh
5
my
minutes.
God, Soundwave! He's a cassette recorder.
Yo, it's
oh my God,
Wheeljack.
Shockwave!
It's Wheeljack, son. Yo, oh shit, RC. What's going on? What's going on?
It's actual Wheeljack too. It's
Yeah,
like
right?
actual like a blinking ears Wheeljack.
Yes, dude. There was both Ratchet and Ironhide looking as they should, man. I was done after the first 5 minutes. Like the movie already blew its load right there.
Soul Bro was done. He's like, I already, this is my best movie I've seen all year.
Oh.
But so of course, as always, the Autobots, even though they have Optimus Prime, they never catch a break in this war. So they're getting their asses kicked off of Cybertron, basically. And we see Autobots just bugging the hell out with Optimus saying, hey, go to any of these planets and hide out, and I'll call you later.
Don't worry, I paid you.
And then, of course, we get introduced to this little, like, yellow vehicle guy, and he's named B-127. I'm like, who the hell's B-127? Well, that's our title character later on. We'll find out how he becomes Bumblebee. But he gets the hell out of there, and of course, he crash lands in California in 1987.
Woo-hoo.
Right during a military drill of a callback of the Bay movies, a Sector 7.
Yeah.
So they're doing a training thing, and of course, we get introduced to Colonel Jack Burns, aka John Cena.
Oh boy!
And as soon as he thought, every time I see him, why does his wrestling music come up?
Because it does. It's synonymous with him now. You can't separate him from it. It's where's the jorts?
And I could just think during casting, they're like, okay, we need a strong looking, like younger, military looking guy that kids will love. John Cena. So he has the built-in thing. And of course, they think he transforms. They're like, oh my God, what is this? They think you're attacking him. And they start chasing him. And in the meantime, a plane shows up. And they're thinking hey, the Air Force came. And B-127's like, yeah, that's not your Air Force, man. And at first I thought it was Starscream, but then I found out later it was Blitzwing.
But he looks like fucking Starscream.
Oh my God, he looks like Starscream.
The color scheme is like, yo, Blitzwing is purple, I think.
But that's the great thing about Transformers. Yeah. Whatever version it is, they're all there's only a few that keep all their looks and pretty much everything, or even their color schemes. They have a battle. B-127 gets his vocal processor ripped out, but yet he's able to subdue Blitzwing by taking one of his missiles and stabbing it in his chest where he blows up. And we see that B-127's having a critical failure, and before he kind of goes into like safe mode, I guess, for Transformers, he scans a Volkswagen Beetle, a yellow Beetle. So, and then we're introduced to this young girl who's coming from a family where she's had to deal with the recent death of her father, and now her mother is about to remarry, and it's her 18th birthday. So, cue in all the John Hughes films from the 80s.
Oh yeah,
and she's an avid Smiths fan. Oh my God,
I know, right?
Never heard so many Smiths songs in a movie, and
I was surprised.
Yeah, and she's mechanically inclined. She likes to work on cars. Her dad, they were working on a Corvette, I guess before he died, and she's trying to get it fixed. And of course, like every 18-year-old, she wants a car. she works at Hot Dog at the Stick, and she's, it's never really too much fun. And, and she's made fun of by all the popular people. So it's got a lot of 80s teenage angst movies in it. Yeah, she goes to this this junkyard, and she finds a yellow beetle. And she talks to the guy there, and he says, well, it's your birthday. I'll give it to you. So she takes it home. As she's trying to find it, fix it, she finds Bumblebee's face, or B-127's face.
Mm-hmm.
And he quickly transforms because it kind of reboots because she shines a light in his eyes. And she's the one that kind of nicknames him Bumblebee because all he's making is these kind of buzzing sounds because he can't speak. And of course, they go through that whole thing of getting to know each other. Yeah. In the meantime, we have two Decepticons show up, Shatter and Dropkick. Mm-hmm. And they kind of trick the humans of like, hey, we're really like good robots, and this really like evil robot B-127's here, so we're gonna like help. We need to get him, and we'd like you to allow us access into your satellite network and all your computers systems. And they're like, sure, no problem. Even though Burns, who's part of this whole thing, says, I don't know if this is such a good idea. He's the only guy that says it's not a good idea, but I guess his spidey sense was going out. So, of course, we see the adventures of Charlie and Bumblebee. She goes to a party, and then once, the Decepticons start finding where he's at, they start going after him. Then Bumblebee's captured by the military, Sector 7. He's then he gets tortured by Shatter and Dropkick to reveal where the Autobots are. And they find out that the Autobots are actually coming to work. So they leave him for dead. Charlie shocks him back to life, restoring all his memories. Mm-hmm. Of course, she's got some help with her friend Mimo, who's kind of like her next door neighbor that's got like a crush on her.
Oh boy.
Who finds out about Bumblebee with her.
That's not going to work out well.
So
poor guy.
So Charlie and Bumblebee go out to prevent Shatter and Dropkick from uploading the whereabouts for the Autobots to the Decepticons by going to a nearby radio tower in a harbor. So Burns shows up. He's shot down in his helicopter by Decepticons. He's saved by Bumblebee. And then Bumblebee just goes into kick-ass mode, ends up basically ripping Dropkick apart. And in the meantime, Charlie deactivates the Decepticon beacon. Rich has Shatter go after her, and then Bumblebee, because they're in there's a dry dock there. He hits the damn wall.
The damn wall.
And a car, yeah, that damn wall.
The goddamn wall.
The dry dock wall, and it triggers a flood. A cargo ship that is Holden goes and smashes Shatter, and of course, Burns has a change of heart and says, "You guys get out of here." And
I'm good,
Charlie. Yeah, I'm good.
I'm a good guy now.
I'll take care of us. Yeah. And Charlie and Bumblebee go to they're in Northern California, and they're looking over the Golden Gate Bridge, and Charlie, realizes that Bumblebee has a greater purpose, says goodbye, and then returns to her normal, her family, because she's kind of reunited with her family at the meantime. Because during this whole time with her family, she's really estranged from her mom and has problems with her brother and stuff, and there's her potential stepdad. So they all kind of reunite and live happily ever after. And then Bumblebee scans the Camaro that we remember seeing him as in the 2007 Transformers and drives away. And then we end with a scene of Bumblebee driving on the Golden Gate, joined by a red flat-nosed truck with a gray trailer.
Oh my goodness.
Who could that be?
Holy shit.
Then the end. And then we start seeing more Autobots start coming. The end. And there you go. So, Soul Bro,
Yes.
we know you like the first like 5-10 minutes of this movie.
Oh yeah.
Because my God, it had everybody was in there. All pretty much all the ones you wanted. The Thundercracker and the other guys, the Conehead
Soundwave,
guys.
Conehead guys. Yo, freaking Shockwave. Oh my God. Yo, everybody.
Shockwave.
Everybody but Megatron. And,
Cliff Jumper gets executed by
Woo!
Shatter and Dropkick.
Yo,
And
why are they always executing Cliff Jumper, man? First, it was in Transformers Prime, right? Where The Rock
Yeah.
voiced him. The Rock was the voice of Cliff Jumper in that shit. And they were quick to kill him because they weren't paying The Rock salary for every episode of Transformers Prime. So they got his ass out of there. But this time, it's like, yo, they're doing this again? Damn. And they
he
took
got
him
killed.
out.
He got killed in the Transformers movie, right?
Oh, I believe,
One from the 80s.
Yeah, Cliff Jumper,
I
yeah,
thought
because
he did.
you didn't see him die, but you saw his body. It was, I believe, his body was right next to Wheeljack. But they always kill off Cliff Jumper, man. It's awful. But he's like the sacrificial Autobot, man. That's oof. That's not a good job to have. But yeah, man, the movie starts out mad strong with Cybertron. It gives you something you've always wanted to see, man. And I was hyped from the very beginning. I was geeking out. My wife was also she was smiling because I was just naming all the shit that was going on when it was happening. The designs of the Decepticons and Autobots rang true to how they looked on Cybertron in the pilot for Transformers. So Travis Knight is admittedly a huge fan of Transformers. He grew up in the 80s, much like Paul and myself, and he watched the original animated series, so he wanted to make a movie that was true to that visually as well as emotionally too, and I think he pulled it off with this film. It does ring very familiar to like movies like E.T. and the Iron Giant. Those are like the big two things I could cite. Instead of boy and his dog, you got girl and a robot. And I honestly still found it charming. A lot of things are derivative of other things. So that didn't surprise me that they went back to the well for something like that. After all, this movie is produced by Steven Spielberg. So, he set the template with E.T., so they're going to borrow from that. Why not? But Travis Knight, he definitely made the movie flow very well. I already was a big fan of his because of Kubo and the Two String and the other Leica films that he's already worked on and put out there. For those who don't know, Travis Knight is actually the son of what's his name, Phil Knight.
Yeah, the guy from Nike.
The guy from Nike. And Nike, Phil Knight helped to fund his studio, Leica Studios, which helped him build his own career as a director.
Yeah,
so he
it's
had
nice when your dad's a billionaire.
I'll tell you what. Beforehand, for those who don't know, Travis Knight was a failed rapper. I forget his name, but you can look up his videos on YouTube. But shout outs to Travis because he turned it into something very dope with his career in animation, and he took those sensibilities and brought it to this film. Man, you could see it almost in every shot, every set piece. The fact that the Autobots and Decepticons look identifiable when they fight is one of the coolest things about this film. You can follow the action, and it's creative, and it's just this air of whimsy and fun to it all. But the tensions built, the base scenes are very tense. I love the fight between Bumblebee and not Starscream.
Yeah.
I thought that was dope. And I'm looking forward, if they do a sequel, to finally see the real Starscream show up. But yeah, when they introduced the other two Decepticons, Shatter and Dropkick, they were pretty compelling too. I mean, freaking Shatter was just a maniac, but sorry, not Shatter, but Dropkick was the maniac. But Angela Bassett really did a good job as Dropkick. As Shatter, and I liked the menace that she brought, like a quiet menace to every scene that she was in. And you have a female Decepticon as like the main antagonist, so that was pretty surprising. But the human characters didn't annoy me, man. And I gotta say that Haley Steinfeld, man, she really is the star of this film. The way she interacted with a basically a figment of her imagination. In reality,
Pretty much, yeah.
But to be able to act opposite something that's not there is an incredibly difficult task, and I think she raised the level on how that's done, because the moments where she has to interact with Bumblebee and they have these tender moments, and they reflect back on her father who tragically passed away from a heart attack before the movie begins, and how she's dealing with her with her family from that point, how they've all moved on, but she can't seem to. It's an actual real thing, man. Death is sometimes not easy to get over or easy to get past, and it was something that I didn't think they would tackle in this film, and I thought that was an interesting story beat to go by on this. I love the fact that her mother was played by Pamela Adlon, who a lot of you guys know is the voice of Bobby Hill on on King of the Hill. So if you thought her voice was familiar, that's why. But yeah, man. Ultimately, I thought the movie had me riveted from start to finish. It's not the greatest film ever made, like maybe some people are saying, but it's definitely easily the best live action Transformers film to ever grace the screen. And it's a great start if they decide to restart this universe. One of the things that Neil and I brought up a little bit in the conversation, I think before the show, is that, and we brought it up on the show too, is that this movie serves two masters. It can be a prequel to the Bay movies, but it can also be its own thing and kind of be a jump off point.
So let me ask you
for a
this,
rebooted universe. Go ahead.
What are they saying? I haven't really. I know there's. What is
They're being ambiguous about
Travis Knight? Yeah,
Yeah.
because I looked at some things with him, and he's just kind of saying, "Oh, whatever," and even some of the producers are the same way. So
I mean, you got to look at it this way. His hands are tied because Michael Bay is a huge producer on this film. So he can't piss off where the money's coming from. So because of that, he just has to kind of be non-committal to the idea that this could be a jump-off point. But if this movie is successful enough to get a sequel, and it sounds like it is, they may decide to establish its own universe. But then there's elements of this film that pop out
Right.
that are tied into the film. Like one of the major things I noticed is you mentioned Sector 7. I'll raise you another one. Simmons is in this fucking movie as a young man.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that to me is tying into the films. For those who don't remember, Simmons was the lead agent in the Transformers Michael Bay movies, played by John Turturro. Well, his younger version is in this film, and they go back to the actual location of Sector 7, that dam area. They bring that location back to bear. So Megatron is somewhere inside there resting.
Right.
And if they made a point to not have Megatron in this film, Shockwave was there.
Well,
everybody else was there. You can't.
You
because
can't have
it's both-
Megatron
Mhm.
if he's in the, because I think what they did
Mhm.
is they're trying to have it both ways.
Yeah.
They want and they it's just like that news story where they talked about the sequel.
Yeah.
They want the core fans, because outside of like the true like Transformers fans before the movies,
Mhm.
there's probably a fandom of the Bay movies, because I mean, let's be honest,
Yeah.
they were $billion movies.
Yeah, they have a lot of people who watch them and like them.
And as much as people hate this, and this
Yeah.
is the same thing that you hear with Star Wars, you have the original trilogy fans, and they can't believe that there's actual fans of the prequels.
Yeah.
Well, you just got to remember at different points of people's lives, this is when they discover these things. So when you were a kid and you discovered the original trilogy or G1 Transformers, there were people that were introduced to Transformers during these movies. So personally, I think they're just trying to have it both ways, and they're playing a little fast and loose with stuff.
Yeah.
Because if you wanted to nitpick the movie, you could, because it's like, man, there is when it comes to the story, if it's like a soft reboot or it's a prequel, because it's like, wait a second, I thought Optimus came in 2007. I thought that was the first time he showed up, but now he's been here before. And I mean, and it was always kind of a little ambiguous when they showed up anyways in that first movie, because I mean, that first movie is really good. The first Bay movie is good.
It's okay. It's all right. I enjoyed it for the time, but
without it, you wouldn't have this movie.
Yeah, sure. You can say that for a lot of things, though.
But
go
I
ahead.
mean, I mean, as much as people hate them, and believe me, they got progressively worse than that.
Yeah.
I mean, we did last night, and oh my god.
Woo-hoo!
But
Man,
the thing is it showed that there was a market. So without that, and you could tell with Bumblebee, they did this because they knew he was a popular character.
Yeah.
But they didn't break the bank. Like, I'm looking at the numbers here.
They
It's
made it
only
for
$135 million budget.
Yeah, they
And
kept
if
it
you
low.
really think about it, there's not much that goes on in this movie outside of the first scene on Cybertron, his fight kit with Blitzwing, and then and then the final battle. I mean, other than that, a lot of that stuff is pretty contained. So
Yeah.
they were throwing it up to see if they had something here, and it was probably just a test, but I'm sure it's gonna go its own route. I think what'll happen is
Inevitably, I think so. Especially if they are going to make a sequel to this. I mean, why waste the opportunity of having the G1 Autobots? Like, I'm hoping that the sequel to this film will be a full on Transformers movie in that era with the bots looking like themselves. Like, take the first arc of the animated series and crunch it down into an actual movie and have a full scale war on planet Earth and bring Megatron in.
But here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
You're wanting it just because you want the G1 ones.
Sure, absolutely.
But the Transformers, how many different incarnations are these guys in? I mean,
yeah,
and I think that's what makes it very interesting, because one of the things too is, in some ways, they could kind of keep going on with this, but still have the other movies actually in the same universe, because it's like, well, yeah, they changed their robot or their vehicle forms, but they can also kind of change themselves too.
Sure.
So it'll be interesting to see what they did. But anything else that you want to say on your positives before I go into my stuff?
Well, I mean, ultimately, I definitely want to see this franchise continue in this direction. I would love to see Travis Knight come back and direct another one, because he's made a world of difference with these movies. Michael Bay has his talents. He really does, man. He's an expert when it comes to filming action. Although I like I said, I didn't like the aesthetics of the Transformers in the previous movies. They just look too alien, man. And I just want to be able to see elements of their actual their transformable form in their robot form, and then to have like unique designs. And this movie brought about what I've been wanting to see for a while. It's kind of like a blend of what we saw in the animated series, but then taking a little bit the design from the Michael Bay movies and finding a perfect union between the two. And I just ultimately really felt this film, and I want to see more going down this road. Especially with the G1 Transformers. Now, that doesn't mean I only want to see G1 Transformers. They can pull elements from other series and other parallel universes or whatever they want.
But are these really G1 Transformers? Because Bumblebee looks mostly like his version from the Michael Bay movies.
Hey, look, he looks like a blend between the two. It's like they found a perfect union, but he also turned into a bug, like legit in this one, as opposed to only hinted towards that. But what was the thing I was going to say, though? There was something else I wanted to mention, but it'll come back to me. Anyway,
okay. Well,
I had a lot of fun watching this movie, and back to you.
I will go into this,
right.
And I saw this a little late, and I saw the reviews, and I was like, man, this movie must be just like earth-shattering and shaking. And I watched it, and I enjoyed it, but I'm sitting there going, I think my point was proven. I don't know what show I said it on, but I said, when we talked about some of the other the Bay movies, I said one day it'll be a movie will be made without Michael Bay, and it'll be crowned the best movie ever. And I think that Bumblebee suffers from that, because in a lot of ways, this is like the 2007 movie. It's just that Charlie is a better character, because Goof LaBouf's character, like with her, like you said, her dad recently died, her mom's getting married. You feel the anguish. She's kind of an outsider. Goof LaBouf's character, yeah, he was an outsider, but he was just kind of a dipshit more than anything. He had a good family life. He had all this other stuff going on. And I mean, he even gets the hot girl, and it's so silly, but in a lot of ways, it's the same thing, because she found Bumblebee just like he kind of found Bumblebee.
Yeah.
And, and of course, Optimus comes to Earth, and they got to prevent so in essence, the two stories are kind of the same, but I am with you. I think that her character is much better, because one of the things I've always heard about the Bay, we need more about the Transformers and stuff like that. Now, I don't think you get as much as what people think you do. I do agree with you, though. They're easier to see, like the fights in Cybertron, because we saw a lot of stuff in Cybertron in the Bay movies, but yes, some of those designs and the way they were doing stuff, it was kind of hard to figure out what the heck was going on at times. And I'll be the first one to admit that. But yeah, I think it's a good movie. But man, I was expecting more, because some of the reviews and just the ratings that you're seeing, like Rotten Tomatoes and stuff, it's just like, man, this must be earth shattering. And I enjoyed it, and I'd like to see a sequel, but I didn't think it did anything out of the ordinary outside of just kind of cleaning up designs and having a little bit more interesting human. Because even Charlie's mom and potential stepdad are kind of more interesting than Sam Witwicky's parents.
No doubt.
Because they were just kind of bumbling fools.
They were
that
comedic
just,
props, yeah, man. That's what they were.
So I mean, but yeah, I thought it was good. It does have a lot of things that are shared with the other movies. So
yeah.
I think that's pretty interesting. And of course, it has the whole thing with John Cena's character, hating him, then not hating him, then trusting him completely at the end. So I mean, and you can tell that I'm sure Spielberg gave some pointers, because it does have that kind of Spielberg-esque ending of, the alien's going to go back to do what he needs to do. And, and now the girl's life is better, so she can go with her family. So it's very much like a E.T. in that.
Don't you worry, the sequel will ruin all that.
Yeah, exactly.
She'll get drawn back in. Don't you worry. So the reunions are on the way.
You'll get some other bad director to do it or something.
Oh,
but
fudge. I hope not. Oh
yeah, but so yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Great. I think it had great music.
Yeah.
My God, the soundtrack was great, because it's nothing but these great 80s songs that really kind of fit. I mean, it gave that feeling of kind of a teenage movie. And I think what really makes it enjoyable for a lot of people is the fact that it doesn't have that blockbuster quality to it. Like, it's got some big action, but it's kind of reserved, and it just didn't feel that way. It's kind of like Iron Man 1, the first Iron Man.
Yes,
If you ever watch that movie, it's like, really, he didn't do much. Like, there was like 3 fight scenes in that whole thing, and that's kind of what Bumblebee is.
It was small scale compared to the other films.
Yeah.
A very small scale, and respect.
And I think that's what makes it more enjoyable, because yeah, I mean, oh my God, the last night. Oh my God.
Yeah, it just became a parody of itself. The movies, man, and the movies suffered because no one could tell this guy no. No one could tell Michael Bay no. And with this, Travis Knight had to probably get checked every time he wanted to do something in this film. But
you know what though?
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, let's be honest. Money's what runs movies, and for the longest time, even the last night did big numbers. I know it didn't do what the previous movies did, but these were $1 billion grossing movies. So
exactly.
I mean, it's interesting that Bumblebee is having a hard time getting even past $500 million, but I think it just shows maybe there's fatigue, and probably what's really driving this movie is people that don't know, or the real old Transformers fans, or people maybe that are just Bumblebee fans.
Well, I think
anything.
I think there's going to be at least a contingency of people who are going to see this movie on home video, really like it, maybe even who grew up with Transformers, who didn't see this in theaters because there was so much going on. Because let's be honest, there was a shit ton of movies that came out this Christmas, just by Christmas. So this movie went off of people's radars completely. But when it's his home video, I think a lot of people are going to really see it, enjoy
video?
it.
What are you talking about?
I'm sorry. I'm not talking about videotapes. If I said VHS or DVD, I would be limited.
Dust off your Blockbuster card. I'm getting that.
Look,
it's a new release. I get a 2-day rental on it.
But I think
I gotta watch it right away.
I think parents that grew up with Transformers in the '80s who will discover this film and watch it will probably show it to their
Well, of
kids.
course.
And then because it's the movie's not it's bloodless violence in this film, so it probably will appeal a lot to a lot of kids. And there's nothing like over sexualized or anything like this in this movie. You probably
No.
get a Lolita complex from maybe Haley Steinfeld's character, but not really. But ultimately,
Are you trying to say something?
look, I'm not trying to say nothing. Look, man. But no, at the end of the day, man, I think this movie's going to find an audience, and I hope the sequel will benefit from that, from all the seeds that this will plant.
It found an audience.
Yeah.
I mean, it's made over 400 million worldwide. It's gonna get a sequel. It's got an audience.
Yeah,
I mean,
I keep knocking it down because
I think you need to. You're trying to have your cake and eat it too.
Maybe
you desperately want this to be
the Michael Bay
good, but then you want it to be Michael Bay successful, right? Like you're like, better. Oh man, I'm mad that this is such a great movie, yet it's not making $1 billion.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of good movies out there that don't. So,
you're right. There's a lot of movies I've enjoyed throughout the years that didn't make shit for money. So it's
I think it's that thing of like you're wanting. I don't know. Maybe you're wanting people to prove people wrong or something.
No,
but,
I wish more people saw it. It's like the Scott Pilgrim situation where I really enjoy that film and it deserved to do better. And it just only made so much. But Bumblebee did better than Scott Pilgrim, and a good amount of people did see it. Enough.
There's no Scott Pilgrim sequel coming.
Yeah, and I hope that the sequel is super good, and doesn't fall on its face. But I'm actually excited about a factor, and I'll get into it once you're done. But I am excited about one factor that this movie introduced.
Well, I'm done. But before you go into that, what are your negatives? Because not everything can be perfect. What are some things that you were kind of like? I wish maybe they did this a little better, or I don't know why they did this, or what.
Well, I guess the negative is that the movie starts out hitting the ground running, and then you kind of set back a little bit when you get introduced to Haley Steinfeld's character. But that's fine because she's pretty engaging. But you hit the ground running on Cybertron, then you come to Earth, and then there's a set piece, and then he's knocked out for a little while as a Volkswagen Bug, and then you get introduced to her character, and the movie kind of starts over. So it kind of kills its own momentum a little bit, but then picks it back up. So maybe a little bit with the momentum from the beginning of the movie getting back into the second act could have been retooled a bit, but it's kind of unavoidable because you have to introduce her character too. So you could say what you want about it, but it is something you could critique the movie on. Also, I wanted to see more of the G1 Transformers, but I know the focus was on Bumblebee, so that's just my little nitpick for the most part.
Still wanting that.
I do. But go
it's
ahead.
never. It's as long as you have live action movies.
Yeah.
It's always going to be more about the human characters.
Yeah, it will be, and
because it's fine. What people identify with.
Yeah, but I don't have too many complaints. Again, it's fertile ground as far as I'm concerned. It's almost like they started over and giving Travis Knight the reins. I thought he did an incredible job for his first time doing a live action film. So props to him. Those are my main complaints about this. Maybe they're tidying up some of the lines and when it comes to the dialogue or whatnot, but the humor in this movie was awesome compared to the Michael Bay films. So I really just.
Well, it's a different type of humor.
It is, but it's intelligent. So it's intelligently written humor, and the line alone about they're called Decepticons. What do you guys not get about this? I forget how John Cena's character phrased it when he said they're called Decepticons. It's in their name. That joke alone was meta. And it was hilarious, and I wanted more shit like that. But save it for the sequel if you can. But back to you, Neo.
Yeah, I guess I would say too. Yeah, the pacing's a little awkward. Mm-hmm. I think in some ways it could have been a little bit more if we saw of the Sector 7 just a tad bit more. Mm-hmm. I think in some ways the fact that Burns, John Cena's character, was starting to not have a lot of trust. I wish they may have expanded on that a little bit more, because one of the things of just like, oh, hey, we're Decepticons and we're good guys and we need to find this bad guy that's on our thing. And the fact that it's just, there's so many stupid things that they kind of do. which kind of seems avoidable, you know. In some ways, it would have made. I mean, I guess that's what made. I don't want to compare it to the 2007 movie, but I did like the fact that they more or less hacked into the computer networks in that one, as opposed to just relying on a stupid general, you know, and some crazy scientist that is like, oh, these things are amazing. Let's just allow them to do everything.
Yo, first contact, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, I know. Quoting like Star Trek. I was like, wait a second. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing. And plus, it is a little bit confusing because you do kind of start comparing it or trying to see where it fits in with the previous movie or the 2007 movie, because as much as you want to kind of keep it, as much as it wants to be its own thing, you can see that, God, it's got a lot of prequel on it. It smells a lot like a prequel.
Sure.
In a lot of ways.
His hands are tied like a prequel would be.
So, yeah. So, but, you know, hey. Other than that, yeah, I'll be interested in seeing a sequel. I'm actually interested in seeing what they can do, because maybe what you do in Transformers now is you start doing these time movies, like these time skip movies.
Yeah.
And you can't really be that hard in these continuity things, because I mean, for God's sakes, think about Captain Marvel that's coming out. You know, if you remember from the original, the original Avengers movie, Nick Fury was saying that was the first. Thor was the first the first experience with an alien life form
that he was willing to reveal, I guess.
Yeah, or you know, so it'll be, and they play hard and fast with their
they do
some of their continuity. Yep. So, but yeah, that was a big thing for me. I actually wanted to, because I found the John Cena character actually a little interesting, because he's that conflicted guy, you know. He's almost kind of like Captain America in some ways. It's like he's a true believer. Well, no, he's a true believer, but then he sees like his superiors do some stupid things, and he's starting to think, I don't know if this is such a good idea. So, but yeah, that would have been kind of, and yeah, it would have been interesting to see if they would have just shown if they would have just shown a little bit in Sector 7 by the Hoover Dam. If they don't have to show, you know, Megatron, but if they did something where they teased like you're seeing something very big and cold is nearby,
oh boy,
that'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah, it'd be nice to
And I would like to see Prime show up at the end and say something.
Yeah, I mean,
I would have liked that. I mean, I thought that was. I mean, you see him in holograph. Yeah.
No, you see him in the forest at the very end.
Yeah.
Oh, at the very end of the film, Bumblebee, and you must have got up to use the bathroom or something. But at the very end of the film, Bumblebee meets up with Prime in the forest, the redwoods, and they have a conversation, and they go to, and they actually show some of the Autobots coming from space onto Earth. So they're all starting to reconnoiter here, so it's gonna be interesting to see where they jump off from this to that. But it was good to see Prime in his full form at the very end of the film.
Yeah. So, what? But that's my misgivings. What were you gonna say, Sobro?
Well, you brought up John Cena's character, good old Agent Burns. And
Colonel Burns, I don't think he was an agent. I think he was Colonel.
Well, Colonel Burns, or whatever his real name is. Apparently, there's fervor on the internet. People are trying to uncover if he's actually a character from G.I. Joe under a different name. And there's been a lot of theories being thrown out there. Some people actually think he's Duke, and he's just going under a different alias for while he works under Sector 7. It would be really
and that's because in the toy and comic universe, the Transformers and G.I. Joe are in the same universe, right?
They have been, but then when they've been under different labels for comic books, they've had to nix that. But when they were under Marvel, that was the first thing that established that. Yeah.
Well, even in the old Image comics, they had some crossovers.
Yeah, because they had the license, or they could cross over with Wildstorm. But
I'm saying on the toy lines and stuff, aren't they? They're kind of that way, right?
Well, what really kicked it off originally with the crossovers between them was in the animated series. They always alluded that G.I. Joe and Transformers were actually in the same universe. There's
Right.
one particular instance where there's a female character by the name of Marissa Fairborn, and she is there was an episode where she was in, because she's one of the characters that are in the future set by the animated movie. Well, one of the episodes, she sees her father in kind of a holographic projection, and it's an older version of Flint from G.I. Joe, and she shares the same last name as him, Fairborn, and it's assumed that she's actually the daughter of Flint and Lady J. So that kind of planted
Oh,
a
wow.
seed for that. But when they started working on this film, there was a big thing about Hasbro wanting to combine their universes, and Bumblebee was supposed to be the jump off point for that. But when all these failed shared universes that we were trying to jump off from the very beginning, like The Mummy and all those movies started failing, I think they did a rewrite for this film to kind of change some of those elements and let this movie stand on its own. I solely believe that John Cena's character, being that John Cena himself is very well known and popular with a lot of wrestling fans, they're trying to give him his own franchise. And
Right.
what better way than to kind of have him be like a G.I. Joe-esque person in this film and establish his character so you can follow his adventures later on. So maybe he was
Would it
Duke for
make
a
more
minute,
sense to have him, well, Duke, or couldn't he be General Hawk?
or he could be Matt Tracker for all we know, because they want to also fold
Oh,
in
they wanted
Mask.
to do Mask
They've been wanting
too.
to do a Mask movie for years, and they also want to do Micronauts, and they want to put them all into the same universe.
There, I was, and I don't want to get too much off topic,
Sure.
but wasn't there something recently where a movie was like in pre-production, or they were kind of maybe doing storyboards or something, or
They were talking about doing a Mask film when they were producing this as one of the films that would come out next, because they've been wanting to make one for a while, and they're going to make it more based on the comic book now, where Matt Tracker's black. And it looks like Will
okay.
Smith, but it's been the talk in Hollywood for a while. And what's cool is that the technology from the Transformers feeds into Mask, where they would use that technology in their cars. That's at least what
Right.
I believe. That's what they've done in the crossover comics, is that it's derivative of that. So that's a great way to kind of backdoor into Mask if they wanted to do that. But yeah, I'm hoping that maybe G.I. Joe does spawn from this in some way, shape, or form. Maybe with the next Bumblebee sequel, that we'll get to see some element of crossover where they can do a jump off from that. But who knows, man? Let me see what the chat's saying, that there was a Transformers episode. Yeah, that Cobra Commander was a side character. Yeah, it was Only Human. Fantastic freaking episode. Where he was the guy who was dealing with the clones. He was selling the technology to these scumbags, and they put the consciousness of Hot Rod, Ultra Magnus, Springer, and RC in human beings. And they had to run around the episode as human beings until they could get their consciousness back into their real bodies. And at the very end of the episode, Cobra Commander's like walking down the street, and his job is done. And he says, it's not like it used to be in the old days. And then he tries to yell Cobra, and his voice starts to break because he's so old.
Oh,
now.
really?
Yeah. It's
Oh,
fantastic.
wow.
I'll show the clip at the very end of the episode.
Does he have the mask on or something?
Yeah, he's
or?
wearing the mask the entire episode. And they just call him the dealer. They call him something generic. He doesn't go by Cobra Commander, but at the very end of the episode, he finally plays that hand, and he yells the Cobra chant, and it's great. It's a great moment, man. So I'll show that clip at the end of the episode for anybody who wants to see it. But yeah, it's fantastic.
So I know. So that's the whole theory, is that Burns was possibly someone that was going to dovetail into G.I. Joe somehow, some way.
It feels like it, man. It really does. And I do like to speculate.
I didn't
make a
even
fool of
think
myself.
about that, but now thinking about him, the way it's like, yeah, it kind of makes sense. I mean, if that was the case,
Yeah.
yeah, I know that I know that they've wanted to do Mask forever. Like that is like that must be in like deep in Hollywood when it comes to these producers and stuff. That must be the one thing that like that's like the holy grail. Everybody wants to do it because it's not the most popular Hasbro franchise.
No, but it could make a kick-ass
It's
movie.
cool as hell. I've
Yeah.
always liked Mask.
I mean, just look how well the Fast and the Furious movies do. And then you're just taking it a step up with flying cars and transforming vehicles and people wearing these masks with the different powers and abilities. It's just
Miles Mayhem.
Miles
I mean, come
Mayhem.
on.
One of the baddest transformable vehicles. I love his plane that turns into a helicopter, into I forget it turns into something else or not, but That shit is it's pretty fun.
Oh
And,
yeah, it had a really oh crap, what was it called? It had a really cool name for it too,
I forget
because
what
they
it was
were
called.
Venom.
Yeah, they were
Yeah,
Venom.
I'm looking at. Yeah, they were Venom, and it was an acronym for Vicious Evil Network of Mayhem.
Yes.
MASC was Mobile Armored Strike Command,
Oh yeah.
and let's see.
It's the perfect era for them to do it too. The late '80s, man, with all the corniness that was going on, man. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, it kind of is. I
Let's
mean,
go. You can even get Will Smith to play Matt Tracker. That's what they're trying to make him look like anyway. So why not? Why not? Just pay the man. Pay him. Let's go.
Yeah.
Don't
Oh,
get his son to be Scott. Please get that shit out of
yeah.
him. Please.
Miles Mayhem, his vehicle, the helicopter that transformed into jet plane,
Mm-hmm.
was called the Switchblade.
Yes.
And that one he had. I'm looking at it on Wikipedia because I
Mm-hmm.
forgot that they had different. They had different masks that had different.
Special powers.
That were special powers that were made for that vehicle too.
Yep, exactly. My favorite character in the entire series is Sly, the guy who he was the guy who wore the glasses, and he was a villain. He had like the soul patch, and he wore sunglasses, and he rode the green bike. He talked like
Oh.
what did he talk like? He said he sounded like Jack Nicholson, and whoever was doing his voice would be killing that Jack Nicholson impression. It was amazing. But it
Yeah,
shows
Sly Rax,
Sly Rax.
a con man, espionage artist, and weapons expert. He was also depicted in the animated series as lazy and falling asleep on the job.
Yeah.
He had the Piranha. Oh, that's right. He
Yeah.
had that He had the motorcycle with sidecar that doubled as a single occupant submarine.
Yeah, this was the first mass vehicle I ever owned. That was the first one. I got on a trip to Tennessee. But shout out to the show. He says Mask is one of the first cartoon to have a gay couple as main characters. Yo, show please. He's talking about Matt Tracker and Bruce.
Oh yeah,
I'm done.
yeah. It was. I thought the first gay couple on screen for a cartoon was Dr. Quest and Race
Yo,
Bandit.
Race Bandit. Yo, that's right, man. Check your facts.
I thought that was kind of given there.
Yo, Birdman established that.
So,
God.
all right.
Ooh.
Anything else about Bumblebee or your thoughts about the new, well, I guess kind of the semi-rebooted Transformers universe that's kind of going on?
I want this
Anything specifically that you're seeing? You want a time skip? Do you want what do you want more? I know you probably want more all on Cybertron, and we just go into the depth.
We'll never get
the
that.
motivations of each Transformer. But if you want that, read the comics. Right?
Yeah, I mean, the comics are great, and I know it's possible with the comics. But you gotta have
different
humans.
audience.
You gotta have humans. I get it.
A lot different budget for a monthly comic book series than a Hollywood movie.
True. Well, bring the fight to Earth, and then have humans be involved.
Believe me,
in
they
it.
will.
Yeah,
They
I mean,
will.
they set it up so that way that's gonna happen. Hopefully, and they'll still have a focus on Bumblebee, but at least the other Transformers will be there, and probably more prolific in the film when the sequel comes out. And just remember what the magic that makes this franchise work. Keep Haley Steinfeld in there, man. She did a kick-ass job with this film, and I'm looking forward to seeing her character get developed. If they do want to jump into the future, let me see her as a 50-year-old woman. Let me see her, and she has kids, and those kids end up going on an adventure with Bumblebee later on. That's fine. But ultimately, man, they opened up a lot of doors with this movie, and I'm thrilled to see what they have cooking up next. Maybe even for the whole the whole Hasbro shared universe. But just take it easy and kind of ease that shit step by step and be subtle with it like the MCU was. Surprise people with that shit, and then maybe people will come out to see your movies.
Well, be
we'll
careful
see.
with that. MCU is a completely different animal.
Yeah, it's its own thing.
News flash.
Yeah.
Hollywood, you can't reproduce the MCU with your franchises. That is lightning in a bottle. One of these days, one of the movies isn't going to hit it anymore. But for whatever reason, it worked. So none of them are going to be like that. How many movies are in the fucking MCU?
How many movies?
It was 10
I think
years. It's what, 18 movies,
It's
something like that.
2020.
21 movies.
I think by the
yeah.
time what's it called? Endgame comes out, it'll be 22 or 23. I have to go back and look, but yeah.
Good luck on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
mhm.
just if you want anything, do baby steps. Do like you can't reproduce that. I don't even know why you would want to try. At this point. Eventually, Marvel
impossible.
Eventually, it will falter. I mean, it's eventually gonna falter.
It's inevitable. But
yeah,
I hope for not.
I mean,
for a
people
while.
will move on. I mean, we still have to wait to see the day that there's no Chris Evans or Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah,
we'll see. I mean,
well,
but
I hope that's a long time coming. But
might be closer than you think. You never know.
You never know.
But
I'll keep seeing them as long as they're good. I will say this though. Props to Lorenzo Di Bonaventura. He's been producing Transformers movies since the original Transformers the animated movie. He's been on this game for the longest. So it's actually kind of cool to see someone who's been involved with making these movies for a long time finally get to make one that's very similar to the animated series that he ended up making an animated movie of so many years ago. So that's dope. And props to Travis Knight, man. You did an outstanding job. Looking forward to seeing what you do in the future, whether it be a sequel to this or another animated movie or something else, man. But back to you.
But that brings up another negative I had. Where were all the Nikes? If this is being directed by the son of Phil Knight,
them Jordans?
Everybody should have had Jordans and Air Force Ones on it, especially in the 80s.
Yo, son.
Come on, man. 87, that was probably what, the Jordan 2 or 3?
Yo, the Air Maxes?
No, it was
that was later. That was later, yeah.
No, it was probably the Jordan 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on, man. You know, what about the sweatsuits? So
who's the man for Nike before Jordan? There had to be someone that they were touting. Was it Magic Johnson or Larry Bird or somebody? No,
there was nothing before Jordan. Dude.
Wow. no, Dr. J. Yo, he don't matter.
I don't know. I don't think Dr. J did Nike.
Oh wow. I think he did.
I
think he did. Yeah.
I've actually watched. There's a 30 for 30 about Sonny Vaccaro, one of the guys that helped Nike do the whole thing with the colleges and stuff.
Yeah.
And I believe Nike was just a running shoe outfit at the beginning because they started as doing track shoes, running shoes. And then they started providing stuff to the colleges. And then, I don't think there was ever a star before Jordan for them.
Damn.
They had other people. They had like Bo Jackson and
they were spinning a lot of plates.
Yeah, but I mean, Michael Jordan hasn't played a basketball game in what, like 12 years, something like that.
His shoes are still flying off the shelf.
Yeah. So, but my final thoughts on Bumblebee. I thought it was very enjoyable. I liked it because I didn't have to think too hard.
Yeah.
I think that's another good thing about this was they didn't kind of just hit you with a bunch of stuff that like you had to know. And I thought it made sense by keeping it with very few robots. Mm-hmm. It made it easy to kind of keep track of. Absolutely. I think that's the other problem with the Bay movies is they wanted to put so many characters in to help to make people, because even that beginning thing on Cybertron, there's quite a bit of characters, but it's not too many.
Yeah,
it's manageable. You're like, oh, there's Optimus Prime. Oh, there's Soundwave. So I think I'm looking forward to the next one, and we'll see if Travis Knight is directing it, but that's what we'll see, what the true strength of this movie is. If they bring in new writers and directors, which always seems to happen, we'll see if this thing's got legs. So, but yeah, I know all these people want to have their own MCU, but you can't do that.
It's almost impossible to replicate, man. But
because in a lot of ways, I don't think the MCU ever thought it would be the MCU.
Yeah, and they've been pivoting and what's the word? They've been adapting the whole way through. So there's really no template on how to get a shared universe successful. It really isn't. Everybody else is struggling with it, but yeah.
Well,
I
and
mean,
they're so fast and loose with the timelines, anyways. That's why I'm interested in seeing Captain Marvel, because I'm like, how the hell is this all going to work? Like, there's a lot of aliens that are in those trailers, and it's like nobody that has never come up before. Like, even what they do with the people and the normal people in real life that maybe saw some of these things, they sequester them somewhere or what? I mean, I don't know.
That's a good point.
But if you're gonna do stuff from the '80s, though, come on, man, you got to do Centurions.
Ooh, you can keep that, man. I have never.
Come on, man.
I have never.
I want to see live action Jake Rockwell, Max Ray, and Ace McCloud. Come on, man.
You and a ton of other people. Yo, Robin's in the chat
Power
right now.
Extreme.
Yo, Robin's in the chat right now. He loves that shit, and I know Show is okay with the Centurion. So I'm the only asshole. I'd rather see Bionic 6. Let me see them Bionic 6 cats, man.
But you also hate the Muppets.
I do, and I will yell it from the rooftops. I'm awful.
You have no heart and soul.
People said, "Yo, Soul Bro loves everything. He's such a nice guy. He hates
he hates Muppets.
He hates
man.
the Muppets, though. He's evil.
How the hell do you hate the
Muppets? Yo, Soul Bro's a fraud.
Well, that brings us up to our last question, Soul Bro.
Yes.
Maybe many years ago, Heart and Soul guy. Do you think he's happy with Bumblebee?
Yo, that's a great. I don't think he's happy with anything. I don't think he's happy with anything, though.
It probably didn't have enough heart and soul for him.
It probably didn't. He probably didn't. It's not enough heart and soul. If it's not the animated show, he ain't pleased with it. But he's probably more pleased with these movies than he was the Michael Bay film. So who knows? Who
knows?
What's his name? I'm not even gonna say his name. I'm not gonna even do him the solid of that. But yeah, that guy.
I wonder how many Transformers fans when they watched Bumblebee, they became like Bumblebee became, or the Bay movies became, Bumblebee became 00 season 2. The Bay movies were better.
Oh my god, I can't stretch that truth long.
I think it's I have to watch the first one again. I like the first one. What was good about this one, it was a little shorter.
I watched it the other day. I was okay with it.
Yeah, it's an okay movie.
Yeah.
I think it's an okay movie. It's actually held up pretty well over time. If you think about it.
I think the set pieces in that are probably the best set pieces in the Michael Bay films by far. In the first one, because they had to figure out a lot of shit out, and they wanted to make it nice and presentable. Like the scenes on the highway fighting and all that stuff in the city, I thought was really well done in that first movie. And there's some charming moments with the humans in there, but they're far and few between. And it's a mixed bag for me now. But because I think the other movies, being that they're connected, kind of like lower it down just a little bit for me. But it's standing on its own, I would still say, check out the 2007 movie. But if I had to tell people between the two of these, the 2007 movie and this one, Bumblebee by a long shot, please check that out. Definitely, I have no qualms with recommending this movie over that one. So,
before we go, I do have a question.
Yeah.
B-127, was he ever called that? I'm not that familiar with all the...
I'm not sure.
I know there's so many different incarnations. Stream, is that something they did for the movie? Or is he called that somewhere in any of these different... That was something I was going to ask earlier, and I forgot to ask it.
Yeah, man, I honestly don't know.
Because that came out of nowhere. I was like, where the hell did that come from?
While we wait for an answer, there's something that I'd be remiss not to point out. And I didn't get this until after I watched the movie, right? I didn't realize it at the time. You know that running joke with Judd Nelson, right? Where they show at the end of, was it Fast? I was about to say Fast Times at Ridgemont High. The end of The Breakfast Club at the as like a plot point in the film where Bumblebee's watching The Breakfast Club several times throughout the film. And then that joke at the end where John Cena salutes him and then he salutes him back by doing the Judd Nelson fist in the air. That shit was great. But I didn't know how deep the rabbit hole went. I always knew that Judd Nelson was the voice of Hot Rod in Transformers the Animated Movie. And that was their little nod towards Judd Nelson in this film by putting him in it.
Really?
There's two big nods. That with his inclusion in that scene in the film with him being in the Breakfast Club is a big nod to Judd Nelson being Hot Rod. And number two, of course, they played the touch for like 5 seconds in this film. So there's two big things that tie into Transformers the movie, and of course the appearance of RC and maybe some other characters I didn't notice that may have been from Transformers the movie as well. So
Well, RC was in one of the Bay movies, right? She was like in the third one or fourth one.
I think she might have been.
Yeah, I think she was. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I remember. I remember hearing the touch too. I was like, oh my god, it's like that guy's happy, right? Got some royalties.
Indeed, Stan Bush, man. I'm glad he got a little payola, man. But Mighty Observer says it's weird that's his name because it's actually a code name for a bomber plane. Oh, that's a fun point. I'm thinking it was probably taken.
Yeah,
from
it looks
one of
like
the
it.
comics.
Yeah, it looks like it. A lot of people here are saying it's made up for the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, RC was in the second
she was in
Revenge of the Fallen.
Shout out to Daniel Mason for that. I'm Daniel. I'm sorry you had to remember that. I'm sorry you had to pull that out of the recesses of your mind to pull that factoid out because we all sat through that piece of shit movie and never again.
A movie so bad, even Bay says it's bad.
Oh, damn! Well, good on him.
So. Yeah, I mean, you can't hold that against them. You will call that, but okay. Anything else before we move on?
I'm good, man. I'm ready to rate this thing.
Okay.
All right.
Well, Solbro, thank you everybody for coming out. Solbro will end us here with some the ways to reach us, and we'll be back in a few weeks with some more.
Well, we still gotta rate the movie, man. How many stars, bro?
God, I didn't even.
Oh yeah, I'm ready to rate this, man. Yo,
man. Sorry,
worries.
we were talking so much, we kept like trying to end it, and I was like, okay. So, Solbro, what would you give Bumblebee the movie?
I will give it 4 John Cena's. If I had the music, I'd play it right now. I would, but I would give it 4 exploding entrances into the ring. Shout outs to John Cena. I think he chewed up the scenery, but he did a really good job. But yeah, I'll give it 4 out of 5. That's what I would do.
I'll give it 4 whining Morrisseys out of 5.
There you go. Oh yes, yeah, that's right, man.
Because man, the Smiths were in this.
Yeah, they were deep.
Holy
in this.
God!
I know Show loved that shit.
and the fact that she even said I'm a big Smiths fan, I was like, oh. I was like, is this the writer? Or is this the director? Who's the big Smiths fan on
That's
this?
That's all I want to know. Yo, when Bumblebee spit that tape out, yo, I was done.
Yeah, he spit out Rick Astley, didn't he?
He spit out the Smiths beforehand though. He spit out 2 tapes.
Oh yeah.
Rick
yeah,
Astley,
she
of
got
course.
pissed.
Yeah, she got
Yeah,
pissed.
she got pissed at him.
He says, "You don't like the Smiths?" It's like, well, they take a bit of getting used to. Give it some time, man. They're the shit. But right off the bat, I wasn't big about them when I was a kid, but I grew to appreciate them when I was older. So
I'm in a happy mood right now, so I can't really listen.
Yeah, I know, right?
I need to break up with my girlfriend.
Yes.
So.
My mood is right, so I can't be diving into no Morrissey and his soundtrack of sadness. But we'll get back to him. Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so when I need to cry, I'll cue him up. We're good to go. So we're both at 4 out of 5. Good shit. All right.
Yeah. I thought you'd actually be a little bit higher.
Yeah, man. No, 4 is fair because it has room to grow. So I don't want to say, yo, man, 5 out of 5.
This movie's not going to grow. Yeah. I mean,
no, it's about like the where the story goes from here and how much better the next one could be.
Yeah, but you're ranking the movie. If you want to give the movie a 5, give the movie a 5.
Yeah, I mean, no. I mean, I think
good? Okay.
I think it's a 4. I think it's a 4-star film. And I think it is. I'm not going Rotten Tomatoes this where I'm saying, yo, it's the best movie this Christmas. No.
Greatest Transformers ever. It's like, well,
But it's a dope time, and it's a movie I would definitely be buying on Blu-ray. I have not bought a Transformers film on DVD or Blu-ray, except for the first one. So my wife had bought the other ones, but I only bought the first one way back. But this motherfucker will be.
Do you own Revenge of the Fallen?
No, but we actually, we own that.
Oh my God.
I've never popped it in. Let me just put that on the table. Never popped that piece of shit in. Never will.
That's a bad movie.
It's a bad scene to have that movie in your house. I need to take it out back and shoot it.
What's worse? What's worse, that or Last Night? Because Last Night's pretty bad too.
Yeah, Last Night's pretty awful. We don't own that though. So and that will never be bought. I already told my wife, is like, do not fucking buy this movie. I don't care if it's on sale for 1 penny. Fuck that film. I'm done. I'm so done. Woo!
Yeah.
Awful.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for coming out again. And Sobro, why don't you play us out with how people can contact us?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Make sure to check us out over on, of course, Twitch. Sorry, not Twitch, but Twitter.com/GundamnMAHQ. If you ever want to see when we're going to be streaming next, we usually post our announcements there. You can also find us over on MAHQ.net. MAHQ.net is where the magic happens. That's the Mecha and Anime headquarters. Make sure to head there and hit the favorites on that. Check out what they got cooking, especially all the line art they have and all the reviews they have for different Mecha series. You won't be disappointed, man. Shout outs to Chris, who's holding it down. A little birdie told me that something may be happening in the near future. I will hold back on the details for that, but next episode, man, in about 2 weeks. Be on the lookout for that. It may be in about 2 weeks, so let's just estimate that it might be the 7th of February, and keep your eyes peeled for announcement around then. If any, we'll see what happens. Things may change, but we'll keep you guys posted. But yeah, mechatalk.net is the official forums for Mecha Talk, and you can also find MAHQ on Facebook. There's a Facebook group that you can apply to join over for MAHQ. I think it's facebook.com/groups/MAHQ1. So you can go there and be a part of the action there as well. But that's pretty much it. Oh, you can also watch us live on youtube.com/GundamnMAHQ live and run back these archived episodes as well. And you can also find us streaming on twitch.tv/level_9. We simul-stream between the two channels when we go live, so you have your choice of watching it on Twitch or YouTube. And thank you everybody who tuned in today, man. Much appreciated for everybody who comes out and watches us live.
All right. Well, we'll be back in a few weeks. Thanks for listening. Take it easy.
So, it's been a lot of fun, but, well, I guess that's all!
Poor Mr. Draft. Not quite smart enough, were you? They simply don't make terrorists like they used to. Cobra!
I would have waited an eternity for this. It's over, Prime.